Kozuki Oden was the daimyo of Kuri in Wano Country and the son of the former shogun Kozuki Sukiyaki, being a member of the Kozuki family. He was the husband of Kozuki Toki and the father of Momonosuke and Hiyori. Additionally, he was the leader of a group of legendary and powerful samurai known as the Nine Red Scabbards, with all of them serving as his retainers and most trusted allies. For 5 years of his life, Oden set out to sea and became a pirate, serving as the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates and later becoming a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. After finding Joy Boy's treasure on Laugh-Tale, Oden journeyed home and made it his goal to open Wano's borders to the world by finally taking his father's place as shogun. However, he met opposition from his usurper Kurozumi Orochi and the pirate Kaido, who executed him 20 years before the present, in an event known as the Legendary Hour. Oden was an extremely brash, confident, carefree, and self-willed man. This motivated him to commit outrageous and violent actions for his own benefit during his youth and adolescence, such as fighting gamblers in a drunken rage, burning down the Yakuza casino after being banned from it, and kidnapping women at night to form a harem in the mountains. After being sentenced to work in the quarries, Oden became less selfish and started acting to improve the lives of the flower capital citizens around him. The most notable example is when he attempted to help out the citizens during a drought by diverting a river into the city, which caused the city to become flooded. Additionally, when a mountain god attacked the flower capital, Oden quickly went to action to try to deal with it and even took responsibility for causing the crisis in order to shift blame from Kinemon, who caused the incident on accident. Unlike the other people in Wano, Oden didn't follow its strict rules and always did things to help others in his own way. He didn't care what others thought about him and also never wanted to be thanked whenever he helped others. Oden was also extremely adventurous and wanted to illegally set sail away from Wano Country. Leaving the country is my dream. Let's travel together. Show me the world. In fact, Oden's determination to set sail was so great that he kept trying to do so 38 times by the time he was only 18. When Whitebeard constantly refused and tried to secretly set sail without notifying him, Oden jumped straight into the sea holding onto the Moby Dick by a chain, shocking the Whitebeard Pirates. Thus, Whitebeard imposed him an extremely difficult challenge which Oden readily agreed to accept it as Oden could brave through the harshest weathers and obstacles without flinching. After he officially joined the Whitebeard Pirates, Oden became immensely excited and curious when they arrived at every new island, learning new discoveries which were unknown to Wano, to the point he ended up recklessly throwing himself into danger. After sailing with the Whitebeard Pirates, Oden became more mature and responsible, and decided that he wanted to succeed his father as shogun and open Wano's borders, to prepare for the return of Joy Boy, and because he wanted to change the entire world. Oden is a rather naive man as he was easily used by Orochi, who approached him humbly and used crocodile tears, which led Kaido to call him a foolish lord later on, saying that Oden is mighty, but soft, like Roger and Edward Newgate. Because Oden was an honorable man who always kept his word, he believed that Orochi would do the same and honored the agreement that Orochi and Kaido would leave Wano if he humiliated himself for 5 years to save the hundreds of hostages and stop the kidnappings and killings of the citizens of Wano. Oden was always someone who would take all the burden on his shoulders as he was afraid that his family and the people he cares about would get hurt if they get involved, especially after he learned that Momonosuke was attacked and Toki hit by an arrow. Ultimately, that would indirectly allow Orochi to rise to power and turn Wano into a wasteland. Oden never explained the motivations for his actions to anyone, not even his wife, children, and retainers, willing to take the truth that he did it to protect and save them all, to his grave. The citizens of Wano who treated Oden like scum for those 5 years learned the truth only thanks to Shinobu, who spied on the deal between Oden and Orochi. In the end, Oden sacrificed his own life for his retainers, willing to go through hellish pain by holding up all of 9 of them on a plank for an entire hour while he alone was getting boiled alive in the oil during the Legendary Hour. As daimyo of Kuri, Oden had a large amount of power and influence over the region before his death. Being a former member of both the Whitebeard Pirates, as a former division commander, and the Whitebeard Pirates, Oden was a tremendously powerful pirate with great influence on both crews. For several years after Oden's death, Whitebeard kept Oden's spot as the 2nd Division commander vacant and noted to Portgasteve Ace, the new 2nd Division commander, about the importance and significance of his predecessor, calling Ace arrogant for thinking he could take down Kaido, a man that not even Oden could defeat. In truth, the only reason why Oden lost to Kaido was because Kurozumi Higurashi distracted him before he could finish Kaido off. Oden's strength left a great impression on Kaido, who, even 20 years after his death, regards Oden as one of the few people, such as the Emperors Whitebeard and Shanks, the Pirate King Roger, and his former captain, capable of fighting him. We will never see a monster samurai of his like again. His influence even extended toward the members of the Mink tribe on Zou, with the leaders Inuarashi and Nekomamushi being members of the Nine Red Scabbards. Like Roger and Luffy, Oden had the ability to hear the voice of all things, which his son also inherited. On the trip to Fishman Island, he could hear the voices of the Sea Kings alongside Roger and could also hear a voice while nearing Zou. Oden had immense physical strength power in his swordsmanship to clash with Whitebeard's Mito Murakumajiri. In his fight with Whitebeard, Oden took a point-blank quake punch from Whitebeard straight to the face and was fine afterwards. Additionally, he held onto a chain pulled by the Moby Dick and faced the many dangers and climates of the New World Ocean with no protection for 3 days before eventually letting go, more because he went to rescue Toki than due to exhaustion. When he washed ashore on an island afterward, he received slight treatment from Toki and slept for 1 night before getting up with exuberant energy, leaving Toki surprised about his tremendous recovery speed. Prior to his prime, when he met Roger and got hit by his divine departure, imbued with Busashoko Haki and coated with Hashiko Haki, Oden got back up immediately with only minor injuries. In his fight against Kaido, Oden was hit by his blast breath not just once, but twice, and powered through them both times. As a testament to his monstrous strength and endurance, Oden was able to hold up all 9 of his retainers, who are all very large, on a thick wooden plank while his lower half was submerged in a large pot of boiling oil for over an hour, which killed an average man in seconds despite getting out, an unprecedented feat that even impressed Kaido. Oden survived the boiling even after the temperature had increased to over 700 degrees and continued to rise. Despite being near death, Oden could still muster the strength to throw all 9 of his retainers far away from the execution site. However, it appeared that Oden reached his limit from this as Kaido noted that his body was dead. Oden was an immensely skilled and powerful swordsman, having developed his variation of two-sword style, which Oden himself called Oden two-sword style. He had immense prowess and ambidexterity in dual-wielding the legendary swords, Enma and Aim no Habakiri. According to Oden, Oden two-sword style is the greatest sword style. At age 18, he could strike down the massive boar hailed as the Mountain God with a single attack. Although the Mountain God was cut in half by Oden's attack did not kill the Mountain God nor the citizens that it devoured because the cut was so clean and precise that the severed parts of the Mountain God were able to be put back together. In his first encounter with Kaido, Oden managed to clash with him on equal terms by using only one sword. In his final fight with Kaido, Oden became the first to wound the nigh invulnerable pirate, whose durability was greatly enhanced by his transforming into a giant dragon, permanently scarring him and sending him crashing into the ground. 20 years after his death, Kaido still acknowledged Oden as the strongest samurai, declaring that there would never be another samurai who could match Oden. Oden was among the very small number of people in the world who could use all 3 types of haki. Oden possessed the ability to use Hashiko Haki, a very rare type of haki whose users are said to have the qualities of a king. He has mastered Hashiko Haki to the extent that he can render his targets completely unconscious. In his initial encounter with Edward Newgate 30 years ago, the sudden clash between them created a notable effect similar to lightning, as well as released a shockwave. This was also shown during his clash against Kaido. Oden was an immensely powerful master of Busashoko Haki, known as Ryuo, in Wano. He is noted as being the sole samurai to tame the Mito Enma, infamous for its gluttonous haki draining properties, which even Kinemon, the Nine Red Scabbards' fearless leader, was afraid of wielding it. Oden possessed the ability to use Kenbunshiko Haki.